This sense of being nonchalant. I want all the chalantness in life because I am the most chalanting person you will find. जो दिमाग में है वो मैं तुमको बोलूंगी, चाहे वो तुम मेरे दोस्त हो या तुम मेरे पार्टनर हो, because communication is so important. So chalant all you want, people.
Be right back googling what chalant means.
Welcome to the Avial
Litti
Pohe podcast, where we are stirring up the perfect mix of flavors
from every corner of India, serving you hot takes
and well-seasoned debates about all things every day.
Hello and welcome back everyone to the Valentine's Day special episode of the Avial Litti Pohe podcast. Thanks for listening to us, and let me just start by saying that you have given us all of your love and support for the last 3 episodes, and we wish that you continue the same for our future episodes as well. So I am your co-host Pohe. Let me start by asking a very simple question that has a very non-ambiguous answer. Does true love even exist, and what even is true love? Aviel or Litti, whoever wants to go first, you can do the honors.
I can go first. I would love to go first.
Okay.
I think true love exists in books and in movies, maybe in real life also. But I think love, by its definition, is something which is extremely delusional by your own will. You know that a lot of things you're doing in love is something which you won't be doing otherwise, like normal state of mind may, if you're not occupied by the delusion of love, you might not be doing that for somebody. But in love you do that, you do all those things, whether it is whether it is cringe or not.
With everything that is happening around today, I feel like yes, it has come to a point where people are like, okay, the Lulu is the Sululu. Everything is a little problematic and a little more complicated than how it used to be, because there are 10 different things that come into play. Looking at what Litti said, yes, we do a lot of things in love when it comes to romantic love. Yeah, like delusion, but that is something that I would not really conquer with. I feel like that is also really multifaceted and it is really layered when you come to think about it. And also, if you look at today's world, all three of us are millennials. And the kind of love that exists today in the Gen Z generation and the generations after that, the definition of love itself has changed a lot. And with the onset of technology and social media, it has changed a lot. But I feel I am still the same person who has the same value system and ethics and morals and thought process when it comes to love. It is becoming really difficult to hold on to it, but it is what it is.
So would you say you're an old soul stuck in a young body?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I'm very old school as well. Old soul stuck in a young body, that too, in many other factors as well, not only love.
But rephrasing this question for you, Pohe, I would like to ask you: do you think we fall in love, or love is actually a choice? What is your point of view on that?
Yeah, it's a very easy question with a not so easy answer. So thank you for putting me in a tough spot. What I would like to say is that I am someone who prides in being a logical, rational, reasonable person instead of being a person who thinks with his heart and all that. Which is, I don't agree with thinking with your heart and all. Brain is there for thinking. So for me, love is a chemical process. To paraphrase a legend from the early 2000s, Mr. Munna Bhai MBBS, love is nothing but a chemical locha that happens in your brain. सेरोटोनिन डोपामीन ऑक्सीटोसिन ये सब सिक्रेट होता है ब्रेन में एंड देन what happens is what humans describe as falling in love. I'm doing heavy air quotes. So it's just a chemical process for me, and it happens to all the living beings, especially the mammals, not just humans. So I know it's a very it's a very dry and scientific answer, but then I am a dry and scientific person, so on point for me.
So basically, you're saying that there's nothing called true love.
No, I don't believe lobsters exist, if you get what I mean. We from Friends used
Oh,
to say that lobsters. I don't
yeah.
believe in that crap. Sorry for my harsh language.
Sorry for your French, I guess. But coming to the point that you made, coming to the point that you made about you think from your heart or your mind. If you look at it scientifically, the heart cannot really think for itself. It's just an organ which pumps blood, and that's about it. It doesn't have it has a nervous system of its own, but doesn't have a mind of its own. So you really, if you look at it factually, you are thinking from your mind, even when you think you are thinking from your heart. It's just the kind of dichotomy that I do not like when people talk about it, because this dichotomy of being very emotional on one side and being very I don't know, like you said, very dry and factual and scientific, quote unquote scientific, when it comes to love. Yes, it is a lot of chemicals that get released, and all of that is true. But I feel like you cannot deny the fact that existence itself has to, like, if you look at the philosophical side of things, you cannot deny the fact that existence itself is just breathing in oxygen and breathing out carbon dioxide for us, for human beings. Yeah, like just going about life for the sake of it. I don't think it's as simple as that. And even though, like, all our emotions and all our sentiments and all of that has to do with our brain chemistry, it still has the potential and the some form of meaning, if you look at it, which has to do way more than these chemicals that go through our body, is what I feel.
Well, I have to agree because you are the expert on philosophy, and I don't even know the P of philosophy, so I don't think I can counter. I have a counter for that. But Litti, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with everything Aviel says. I just love I
Of
just
course,
love
well,
listening
of
to
course.
whatever she says. So I mean, I would just take the discussion a little more forward. When we speak of soulmates, I believe it's not just, a romantic relationship. It can be a, friend. So what do you think about soulmates?
It's a tricky question. That's a thinker. Yeah, you're talking about platonically if soulmates exist or not.
Yeah, yeah. Have you experienced that?
Again, like Pohe said, it is a very tricky question, but again, looking from the point of view of, larger than life things, and
I love your expression.
I wish people could see it, because yeah. uh,
We are going on video pods very soon, so keep listening to us. Thanks.
and there we have the plugins. Thank you, Pohe. And yeah, so coming to the larger than life things, and how much we talk about it and read about it in, fiction, and we watch things on TV or like film and things like that. In real life, again, it depends from person to person. It also has to do with the fact that it doesn't depend on our own self, but it depends on the person you think your soulmate is. But at the same time, life happens, things happen, things change. I do not know the existence of it. I like the idea of it. Absolutely. In theory, yes, it sounds really beautiful and really dreamy and ethereal and things like that. But in real life, I feel like it takes two to tango. So even if I have that sense towards a person. It depends on the person in front of me as well to put in the effort, because I feel like love, especially in today's day and age, which has become a huge problem, is that there is a lack of effort, because love is just not the feeling or, like, the things that you say, but it's the effort and the actions. And that is lacking. And it's becoming very shallow, and it's becoming very watered down. And that is something that I do not adhere to. And I feel very strongly towards love. I very famously always say and always write on Instagram as well that I love. Yeah, it's not as simple as saying that, because it is very complicated and it is really difficult. But I feel like the very essence of being a human being has to do with the fact that love exists. And just very recently, I read a quote which said that everything in life is about love, because it is either the presence of it or the absence of it.
Absence.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I absolutely agree with that. What do you guys think?
So, before answering the question that Letty asked, that do soulmates exist? First, let me ask what even is soul, and if we assume that soul is our behavior or our swabhav or our nature, inherently who we are, then that keeps on changing. Like what we were 10 years ago, we will not be now, and we will not be 10 years from now, will not be the same person. So if our soul is a dynamic thing that keeps changing, how do we expect the same person to be with us for the rest of our lives? Because we are not the same person for the rest of our lives. So that is where I will logically come to the conclusion. Again, the good old brain is working, so can't help it. Logically, I would reach the conclusion that because soul is a dynamic thing, soulmates shouldn't exist by definition. But that's just my opinion. Letty, what is your take on your own question?
I think you're confusing personality with soul. I think personality changes, we evolve, we
Yes.
grow. But soul remains the same. That's precisely what I'm talking about. Love is that, generally in life, you fall in love, you grow with each other, and then there comes a time when you fall out of love as well, because one person outgrows the other. Sometimes that happens, like everything is so much good, but sometimes ऐसा होता है कि एक इंसान दूसरे को outgrow कर जाता है, and then they jitna naturally they fall in love, utna hi naturally they fall out of love. But I feel that when we read all those poetic things जो तुम नहीं relate कर पा रहे होगे पोहे, but there are certain things about true love and soulmates. When we read that, it also talks about something beyond that. Sometimes when you have outgrown this other person, you might choose to not even be with this person, but you know in your heart that love exists. It's still there. You never grow out of love for that person. It's very weird thing that I'm talking about. But again, when I am saying I believe in true love, I can talk about nonsense like that. But you will not understand it because obviously you don't believe in it, so it happens. I don't know if you guys have experienced it. Sometimes it is like the other person is giving you thousand reasons to fall out of love, but there's some connect that you keep feeling with that other person. It can be in friendship as well. Have you, like, that's what I was intending to ask, have you ever experienced that?
Yes, absolutely. Because my friendships have really defined my being throughout my different phases of life. And what Liti was talking about, I absolutely agree. But before coming to that, I would want to make a reference to what Pohe was saying about the soul. And that's something that is a very big philosophical question as to whether the soul exists, what is the soul, and yada yada yada. But I also
But
feel like you cannot define a soulmate etymologically. Again, I agree with what Liti was saying, is that soul is very different from your inherent intrinsic characteristics. And even if you change as a person, like your soul changes, in the sense it evolves, because that is how life goes on. Your identity changes. I feel like if you have a person who you absolutely believe in, and you believe that this is my soulmate, they would also learn to evolve with you. That is how, quote unquote, ideally it should be. But does that really happen? I haven't experienced it, but I have heard of people and seen people in my personal life itself who have had that person in their life. Not necessarily like, a romantic partner, can be anybody. It can be even your pet for that matter. And coming back to what Litty was talking about, you might outgrow a person, and you might go your own ways. But that doesn't mean that you or the other person were bad people. Things happen, life happens, because we are social beings at the end of the day. And change is the only constant, as they say. And what is the point of living if you are not evolving constantly as a human being? Leave alone anything else. As a human being, if you're not evolving and trying to be a better person every day, then there's no point to life at all. अगर आप वैसे evolve कर रहे हो, and if the other person, whether it's your friend and whether it's your partner, if that person is not able to make peace with that sense of the being that you've come to be, then that's absolutely fine. It doesn't make things bitter, does it? Because that it doesn't mean that the moments that you had with that person, whether it's your friend or your partner, doesn't mean that those things cease to exist. Like some point in life, some phase in your life, they were those people to you, and you were that person to that person as well. The idea of, like, you don't only have one particular soulmate in life, but you can find multiple people during different phases in your life, is something that I would actually want to believe in.
What I would infer from this, uh, and tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm assuming the wrong thing, what you're trying to say, Aviel, is that if soul is not a fixed thing, as in not a one single thing you can define, then having just one soulmate in one life is also not a thing that is possible. If soul is changing, then you might have more than one soulmates in one lifetime. Is that what if is my understanding correct of what you're saying, or have I
Yes.
missed your point?
No, absolutely. Like, it is possible that as you evolve, the person that you thought or is your soulmate might also evolve with you and stay there in your life forever. But at the same time, as you evolve and as you grow, you might outgrow some people, and some people will outgrow you as well. And they will also go on their own way, and you might also go on your own way. And I guess sometimes we shouldn't take things that seriously or that personally, and let things be. Take things as they are, and not to put too much meaning into it, which is not very easy, obviously. But it is really important to have that balance in life. Otherwise, that balance of, like you said, between the mind and the heart, it is very difficult to manage. But we need to tread life in that manner. Otherwise, extremities in any form, in any way, in any point of context is not good.
Yeah, but I would like to disagree a bit, not much. That I can be little biased, but I feel that for me at least, soulmates exist in the form more in the form of friends, people who it's okay. I mean, sometimes it's okay if you're not evolving as much as with your own pace. You kind of, I think, love only goes back to the same thing that sometimes you accept the flaws. I mean, up to a limit only, obviously not extreme of anything is not good, but some things are just not हम कहते हैं ना कि हर एक दोस्त जरूरी होता है. And कुछ चीजें हैं जो हर एक friend में, like, you would not agree with it, even like about
Yes.
political ideologies and a lot of things, but you kind of, there's so many good things about them that you want to be with them. So I just kind of disagree a little bit about the fact that I feel that when you find a soulmate, they are actually here to stay. You might have like differences, और हो सकता है कि आप कितने दिनों तक बातचीत ना हुआ आपकी. A lot of things can happen. You can go through ups and downs, but they are here to stay. So I believe my soulmate is my best friend, Chetna. I'd just like to mention her name here. I hope she likes it and does not get irritated on me. Yeah, but so she is my soulmate. So I think like that. So no matter what, soulmate is there to stay. That is what is different about them. That's what I feel. But listening to you guys, answer this question, I had another question in my mind, which I would again like to start with Pohe. What do you think?
Why not? Huh?
What do you like? What in your opinion? What is it? What do you call an ideal relationship then?
Wow, that is deep.
I am speechless, which is not good for a podcast, apparently. So, to answer your question, Litty, let me bring in a metaphor. True love is like a comfort food, ideally a plate of dal, chawal, papad, achar, ghee. So it something that makes you feel at home, and it's not very difficult to make it work, and it gives you a satisfaction of being full. In the case of food, it's the stomach that is full, but in case of true love, it's the heart and soul again, soul that is full. So yeah, to answer your question in a short way, true love is like a plate of dal chawal.
But I did not ask that, Pohe. So my question, that's why I modified my question. My question was not about true love or anything. I just want to ask you, love or not, what is your idea of an ideal relationship?
Yeah, I gave the right answer to a wrong question, but my answer still stands. An ideal relationship is like a plate of dal chawal that you don't have to fight to make it work. It just happens naturally, and there is as less friction as possible, and it doesn't feel like work. It feels like it's flowing naturally, and both of you are on the same page at least 90% of the times. Not because you have to, but because you just are.
Okay, I got confused because first you had said that you don't believe in true love, and then you answered your question with starting with true love. So that's why
हाँ
I
तो वो
got confused.
we will cut that part out.
Because editing is everything.
Yay,
That's
that's a t-shirt quote.
that's what she said.
Is it as simple as that? Is what I would want to say. The idea that it comes very naturally and you don't have to fight for it. That also has comes after a lot of effort and work that is put into it. Just because the emotion of love exists doesn't mean that it will work on itself and it will run on its own, and there will be this sense of magic and rainbow and sunshine and things like that. I feel that is something, especially in India, I feel like that is something that is sold to us by our films. We fail to realize that it is a lot of work. And I feel like there are a lot of other things that have to come first. Love will come automatically. And I'm saying this in the context of not only romantic love, but love in general. It can be any form of love. I feel there has to be respect, there has to be some form of ethics and principles that you live by. Because if the basis of your existence itself doesn't match, then it is impossible for you to have even a simple conversation. So I feel there has to be a lot of different things that has to come first. And if all of these things match and are there, and there are boundaries and lines that are established, then I feel love automatically comes, and then it becomes effortless. And for that, it takes time. It doesn't automatically, okay, just because I like this person, or like, this person is my friend and has been my friend for 10 years, doesn't mean that they are going to be the same every single day, every hour, every minute. We are changing. So I feel like we need to keep doing that there has to be that sense of consistency as well, where you have to keep working on that relationship for it to live. but at the same time we also need to know where to hold ourselves back and hold, at the same time, hold the other person accountable for their actions and words and things like that. So I feel it doesn't really, it's not as simple as, it comes back to the same thing. It's very complicated, very multifaceted, that it is not as simple as how Ranbir Kapoor says ki, like, प्यार दाल चावल होनी चाहिए, मतलब मुझे मेरी प्यार, whatever he says, I don't know. But yeah, I
Wait,
know that he
did you
does it in
did
some
you
films.
just compare?
That's not even worth remembering.
Did you just compare me to Ranbir Kapoor? That's the biggest insult I've ever faced.
But yeah, like I know that
Why,
in an
Avinash?
interview
He's so
also
good
he
looking.
said,
Okay, so it's the biggest insult he has ever faced. Thanks for correcting.
बट हाँ, रणबीर कपूर जैसे बोलता है कि प्यार दाल चावल जैसी होनी चाहिए, एंड हाँ ठीक है, हो सकती है, बट एट द सेम टाइम वो बिरयानी भी हो सकती है. So it depends on you, how you take
Of,
life, and it's very personal. And going
yeah,
back
of
to
course. And also, I'm sorry to cut you in between, Aviel. I just going back to, like, I would like to just plug in our first episode. कि जैसे खाना taste is subjective, वैसे this is also subjective. People can
oh
love
my god,
biryani or they can love avial. You never know.
Absolutely. And great minds think alike, because I was literally just going to say that going back to our first episode and our dichotomy of subjectivity and objectivity. Exactly. Because what sits well with me might not sit well with you. And it doesn't have to do anything with me being a good person, bad person. It's just how, uh, like, things have been, in the sense that our experiences, the people that we meet on a daily basis, our peer groups, our family, our upbringing, so many things come into play when you look at the idiosyncrasies of a person. So it cannot be as simple as कि हाँ ठीक है, मतलब प्यार है तो सब कुछ है. That is something that I have learned in all of these years.
I guess the biggest lie Bollywood and pop culture as a whole sold to us was, and they lived happily ever after. I don't think that exists. I mean, if you are saying that you have to make things work, then you have to make things work for the rest of your life as well. So there is no they lived happily ever
Yeah.
after
Well,
shenanigans.
they can be happily ever after while working on it. But my question, like, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of my folks are, going to come at me because I feel like mentioning a lot of them today. So, coming to my own question, I feel, about ideal relationship. One of my cousins, she lives in the US now, and when she got married, she was in Delhi, in Gurgaon at that time. And I still think that, to me, is the ideal relationship. I saw जीजू और उसको, उन लोग लिविंग रूम में बैठे रहते थे. जीजू यूज टू लाइक रीड अ लॉट, ही लाइक्स टू रीड अ लॉट, वो अपना पढ़ते रहते थे. एंड रिनिधि यूज टू लाइक dance around and like irritate him or just watch something. And अपना अपना एक एक घर के अंदर दो लोग अपना अपना space while coexisting with each other, and that is also like so beautifully. So मेरे को वो बहुत अभी भी, when I look at it, of course you have to work on a lot of things in the background, but just that comfort where you don't have to take a lot of effort to be with each other and let each other be. um
Yes.
ये दोनों चीजें beautifully exist करना is something, is something which I call an ideal relationship.
Yes, I feel like, and this is such a important point, especially for women. I feel, and something that is different for men is that, especially in romantic relationships, I'm not talking about other contexts right now. Specifically in romantic relationships, which I see with my friends as well, is that when people get into a relationship. Especially with a man, they forget their own identities. even if they are very headstrong and very independent and have their own sense of being in their personal lives. I feel like when it comes to romantic love, they kind of forget their identities, because probably what I've come to see is that they have been yearning and really like wanting this love, that jab wo mil jata hai to apne aap ko kho deti hai, and which is something which is really really difficult and problematic. It is obviously gonna set yourself to fail ultimately, because it is really important that while you come together uh, as a couple, it is important to still have that sense of individual identities intact as well, where you give each other the space to evolve individually and together. Otherwise, if you become dependent on the other person for your own self, in the sense the being that you are, then it becomes very problematic. What do you think, Pohe? I guess today all the questions are being
Pohe is utterly
posed to Pohe,
confused.
and he's like, why am I even having this conversation? Why am I even here? And he's really if you could see
Yeah,
his
yeah.
face right now, you could
Because I
know that
I have a beautiful
again
question
I
for
am.
Pohe.
because I have no, no, because I am the best person to answer about women losing their personality when they're in a relationship with a man, because I don't know how. Yeah, yeah, because I am the ex. So I fail to see the point of. So what was your question, Aviel, to me? Let's take it from there.
I don't remember.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Very.
present to you goldfish in human form.
No, seriously, because
Quite literally, she's a Piscean.
yeah, actually, literally, I am a fish.
Oh, we are going
Uh,
there, is it? Are we going there?
oh,
Yeah,
let's talk
we
about
are
that.
there. We already are there.
Oh
Next
yes,
episode
yes.
is on astrology, so don't forget to
No,
tune in.
let's just get into it in the context of love here. Why don't we? We can have a really nice, beautiful conversation of the compatibility when it comes to zodiac signs and love.
I think you pronounced argument wrong. You said conversation.
So I would like to start by asking Pohe some some like light-hearted questions, as we say. So tell me, Pohe, what is the most ridiculous thing you've ever done for love?
Ooh, I like this
You,
question.
you are a good question, but your question gave me heart attack in kidney.
But I know the answer also, Pohe. You're just not saying it.
Come on, boy, you can do this.
Wait, now I'm confused. What do you know that I don't know about me? That is a very ये क्या
Well, well, well.
God.
mind reading stuff चल रहा है? I don't know. I have traveled a lot to surprise the one I love. Many a times, not just once. So, does that
That
count
is
as a
not
crazy thing to
ridiculous.
do? Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
not
no,
a
no,
crazy
not
thing.
at
That's
all.
just a passionate thing to do.
नहीं, बट किसी के लिए इतना ट्रैवल करना, वो भी आज के ज़माने में, मतलब पहले हमारे मम्मी-पापा के ज़माने में अगर तुम मतलब एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जा रहे, then that would have been effort, because it was difficult, it involved a lot of money and a lot of, जैसे वो बोलते थे कि हम नदी पार करके, माउंटेन पार करके स्कूल जाते थे। तो अगर तुम प्यार के लिए तब जा रहे थे दूर-दूर, तो फिर वो effort और क्रेज़ी, quote unquote crazy कहलाता. लेकिन I feel like that is not a good enough answer. You'll have to think
Yeah,
a
so the
little more.
craziest thing I have ever done in love is I have taken years to move on from someone I used to love.
Oh.
I guess that's the answer you're looking for.
Or have you moved on yet? We will never know that.
Contrary to popular belief, and by popular I mean Aviel and Letty's belief, I have moved on years ago. They just don't. I don't know for what reason they don't digest the fact that I have moved on.
It's not about digesting. Like हमें क्या फर्क पड़ता है? हम जो देखते हैं ऑब्जेक्टिवली, quote unquote objectively वो हम बोलते हैं. सो अगर आपको वो लगता है कि हमारा मतलब बायस है तो फिर ओके, बट लेट्स put this on to Litty. Uh, put this on to Litty. That what is your craziest thing that you've done in love?
Oh, so I think out of all three, I think I'm the only one who's been sounding delulu in love. So I would say that. So I would just say that anything that I've done in love, it's still not appearing ridiculous to me by far. But I would just like to say that once I thought that I was in love and did everything, and everything. I think that is the most ridiculous thing that I've done, where I was thinking I was in love when I was not. So I would just I would just like to go take it back to that point. While being in love, whatever I have done, I still I don't feel any cringe about that. I don't think anything ridiculous about that. I've done some stupid shit, of course, but I just cherish all of that. But I still don't find them ridiculous because that's love.
Craziest thing Letty has ever done in love is realizing that she was not in love. Nice.
She was not in.
Oh, well. But I do agree with what Litty just said. Not about being Delulu. I feel that it is very important to be like practical, like have being a Piscean and being deemed to be always dreamy and in the dream world and not liking reality. I feel like as personally, I am a person who has 1 feet in the real reality world and 1 feet in the Delulu world, and that is important. And I agree with what Litty was saying is that whenever you are in love, on a very serious note, whenever you are in love and you do something in that moment, if you felt that it was right, then it is right. I don't think we should go back in the past and borrow sorrow from there, being regretting your actions and thinking that अरे ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए था, ऐसा करना चाहिए था, ऐसा बोलना चाहिए था. I feel that it's okay. Whatever is done, it's done. And I've always been that person that in that moment, that self of me felt that it was the right thing. But at the same time, whenever I do something, I think 10,000 times before doing something, being the overthinker that I am. So whenever I'm doing something, when I'm saying something, I think gazillion times before doing or saying anything. And so when I go ahead in future and in retrospect, I feel like, okay, ye nahi karna chahiye tha, but I don't count myself to be wrong in that sense. It's okay. You did it in love, and that's absolutely fine. And in this context, I would say in the in a friendship or in a romantic relationship, it's absolutely fine. What do you think, Pohe?
हम कोई मंदिर का घंटा हूँ, कोई भी आके बजा जाता. But coming to the most important question, because today is Valentine's Day, what do you think about Valentine's Day? Is a question for both of you. Is it really a day to be celebrated for love to be celebrated, or it's a marketing gimmick for companies to make money out of the gifts industry, or is it something against our culture and sanskruti? What do you think?
I feel like, as a true hopeless romantic that I am, I don't believe in Valentine's Day. I feel like love should be celebrated any day and every day, just like birthdays as well. I feel the same about birthdays as well. Like you can, like we have free will. We are adults now. You can go and get a cake whenever you want and eat it. Just do that. So in the
Yeah.
same manner,
And just what Avyal was just saying, I believe you just make it what you want. Like we are planning to have a Galentine's this month, not a Valentine. So it is like it's not even that anymore. Okay, you're celebrating love only, like romantic love. We are celebrating female friendships as well, in the form of Valentine's. Now we call it Galentines. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like ki matlab again, like the history of Valentine's Day is very different from what it has become in the capitalistic world that we live in. And I do agree that it is a huge gimmick as well. But the essence of it is lost. That, you know, there has to be a day where you are celebrating romantic love, and it should be pious and beautiful and things like that. That is lost, especially in today's day and age. You can call me judgmental about it, but yeah. And coming to the last part of your question about, is it against our sanskriti and our tradition and culture, and in the context of India, no, I do not. Although it's a Western idea, obviously it is, yes, a Western idea, but I feel like India has to really, really evolve in that manner, in the sense of, especially romantic love, where we need to openly express it. We need to have the freedom to openly express it, and openly, like, you know, talk about it as well, and have freedom. Freedom is the main part of it, I feel. Just like how Shashi Tharoor recently had said that India is the place where you can piss publicly but not kiss publicly. And I absolutely agree with that.
So I should not go out on 14th Feb and beat up couples in a park, right? Should I or should not? I am confused now.
We will beat you for sure. So if I had to ask, to give a movie, name, title to one of your worst exes, what would you pick? Worst. It's not for
Three.
the good
Three.
people.
Why are you doing this, Litti? Why are you doing this?
वो स्त्री है, वो कुछ भी कर सकती है.
That is actually really good, Pohe, not gonna lie. That is really good. Again, you said a title, right?
Yeah, even I can't think of any. The only phrase or anything that is coming to my mind is "kutte ki pooch" maybe. But is that a movie? I really don't know.
What the hell? Kutte ki pooch?
I would like to say Jani Dushman is a movie title that describes my situation from a decade ago very well. So I would stick with that, Jani Dushman.
But I would have, but the story, from the story point of view, I might have like to give the title of "Life in a Metro" for you, Pohe.
I haven't watched the movie, so you might have to explain that.
That's even great. So now we can make more jokes.
मैंने एक सवाल कल लिखा था मैंने एक सवाल, but that is again not funny. That is very educational. Like what women think about men type question. अगर कोई single men सुन रहे हैं, तो rather than listening to Andrew Tate kind of people, they should listen to Avial and Letty. Because that is how you solve the male so-called male loneliness pandemic, is speaking to women, not to toxic men. That is where I'm coming from. Listening to women is what I'm saying.
I don't want to help men. I'm not in that space of mind. But I would like to ask another stupid question. Where
No, wait, give me a moment, because I'm not in a state to help men.
I mean, why
That is
should I
so
be
well put.
trying to-
That is so well put, because I feel the same as well. Is that you're adults, you should help yourself. Why uske liye bhi, why do women have to work? Like, what the hell? Kuch to kaam karo yaar life mein. But okay, Litty, go ahead.
So I had a question in my mind, that what is the most bizarre dating advice you've ever received?
A so-called toxic, not so-called, a so-called friend actually who was toxic told me this very seriously that if you ignore women, they would want you more, which is a horrible advice. And I would not give this advice to any man or woman ever again. You should not ignore people who you actually like or have a crush on or have feelings for. You should not ignore them to want them like you more or whatever. That's not how things
Yeah,
work.
this sense of being nonchalant. I want all the chalantness in life because I am the most chalanting person you will find. आई डोंट गिव टू फक्स ओके, जो दिमाग में है वो मैं तुमको बोलूंगी, चाहे वो तुम मेरे दोस्त हो या तुम मेरे पार्टनर हो, बिकॉज कम्युनिकेशन इज सो इम्पोर्टेंट. सो shalant all you want people because that is the way it should be.
Be right back Googling what chalant means.
So the most horrible advice I have ever received is, maybe I've been suggested that, okay, big deal, ये कौन सी बड़ी बात है, just hide it from him. Maybe ये कोई बहुत बड़ी चीज तो नहीं है, even if you hide it, it would not make any difference, which something I think it just goes against my personality. I have never been able to take that advice from anybody कि अगर कुछ नहीं, कुछ अगर वैसा है ही नहीं, so you can just skip telling a lot of things which might work. But I'm like, oh, I'm a Scorpio. It has to be like पानी से भी ज्यादा transparent world for me. I can't do that when I don't want it. मेरे को नहीं चाहिए that people hide things from me selectively, so I also would never do that to anybody. So yeah.
Pohe is face palming here because we bought astrology into the mix, which is not something
Again.
he likes. But we will talk about it because it is fun, and don't take life so seriously, Pohe.
There will be a full length episode on this.
Okay, I have a question. If if you had to choose a genre for your love life, from films obviously, what genre, films or books for that matter, what genre would you choose?
Wait, I'm confused. Isn't romance a genre by itself?
Avinash would take political horror. If there is something like that.
George Orwell level.
1984 might as well be my biography.
I would like to take something where two people fall in love in amidst some college politics happening around and all of that, but it's definitely not Ranjana, definitely not Ranjana. But yeah, there's some Taj Mahal or something. Wait, let me. एक Netflix पे एक वो है. So not Ranjana for sure. वो तो थोड़ा कुछ ज्यादा ही. Oh God, कितना stalking glorified है उस picture में. But there is a web show called Taj Mahal 1989 on Netflix. If I don't know if you've watched it, I watched it during pandemic. It's a good one. It's a softer, like Lucknow University में setup है पूरी story. It's a good one. So something like that, a very pyara, cute. There's a novel also, a book called Your Dreams Are Mine Now. Again, not that, because I started reading that novel. I think it's the same writer who wrote I Too Had a Love Story. So this guy, he started with such a beautiful story of politics in college in Delhi University, I guess, and then in the later half of the book, it became very horrible, very much like Nirbhaya Kand. So yeah, so the softer ones. I mean, the softer ones, all those love and romance set up in college politics. I would like to have a love story like that. Yeah.
I would take this opportunity to do a 2-in-1 thing. I would use this as a stand-in for my ideal love story and also as a movie recommendation. The movie is Premalu, last year's blockbuster movie from the Malayalam industry, 2024. And it's a nice coming-of-age story mixed with a little bit of romance and comedy mixed in with it. So that is something. It's a feel-good movie, and there'll always be a smile on your face for the whole duration of the movie. So yeah, that's a good recommendation also, and that's what I would want my ideal. I would have wanted my ideal love story in my
What
early 20s or late
what is the
teens.
genre? What is the genre of that movie?
पता है तो.
What did you
It's a
just say?
coming.
Repeat.
It's a coming of age story with elements of romance and comedies. It's a rom com.
So it's a rom com. You cannot say rom com. You have to create a genre.
अरे रोमांस पे ऐड करना है ना कुछ तो कॉमेडी ऐड किया. That's what Aviel said ना.
So you should go back to Stree then.
You want my love life to be a horror story. ये कैसा ऑब्सेशन है कि इसको तो जीने नहीं देंगे शांति से, चाहे जो अभी सॉरी पोहे.
कोई तुम्हारा खून पी जाए, क्योंकि तुम हमारा खून तो पीते रहते हो.
What is your genre?
Okay, so I have people who know me, especially my undergrad and postgrad friends. No, I have done both of them in literature. Is that I have a very weird obsession with tragic female protagonists. My favorite book is Anna Karenina. So you can, if you've read it, you can understand where I come from.
What is it about? Can you tell a little bit?
So Anna Karenina it's a Russian literature book, and it is set in Russia, obviously, in Moscow, and it's about this. Obvious, लेकिन कभी कभी बोलना जरूरी होता है क्योंकि रशियन लिटरेचर है तो मतलब रशिया में ही सेट होगा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है.
यूक्रेन में भी हो सकता है. हाँ.
हाँ, exactly. well.
Thank you.
Well, it's about this female protagonist, Anna Karenina, who she's married and she falls in love with somebody else. It's an extramarital affair, and how the whole thing goes on. And it is set against the political climate of Russia. I will not say much or give away much. If you want to read it, you can absolutely read it because it's a beautiful book, but it is a very thick book. So if you are not, it's around 800 pages. So if you don't like reading, then you can absolutely watch the film. It has Keira Knightley as the protagonist, and I love all the classics where Keira Knightley is the protagonist. So there's that. So I have this obsession, and I still do. So my choice of the genre would be tragedy.
you know, Aviel, while you were speaking, I was anyway constantly thinking at the back of my head that when uncle, I mean your father, would be listening to it, what he would be thinking, like what should I understand by?
I'm pretty sure they
And
don't
then
know
you
this
like
side of
out
me.
and out said that my favorite genre is tragic. Tragic.
Well. In the same line of things, if you have watched Imtiaz Ali's Laila Majnu, which has suddenly become very famous, I loved it when it has originally come out a few years ago. I don't know exactly which year it was released, but I had absolutely loved it. It's a retelling of the classic Laila Majnu story, but I absolutely loved it, especially because of the way the actors portrayed the characters and their acting more than the story itself, because everybody knows about the story. It's the same story, it's just a retelling. So yeah, tragedy is my favorite genre. In a way, I feel like I love tragedy so much that I have manifested my life to be a tragedy as well. So there's that.
Okay, so I don't know. I have not watched Lala Majnu, but some of my college friends they love it. But they also tell me that Lala Majnu is a movie which men would relate more with. Is that a thing or no?
Why would they relate more with it?
I don't know. I have not watched it. I just heard
Neither
it.
have I. Neither have I. So.
No,
So
I don't.
only Aviel can
Wow.
answer this.
Yeah, I am so aghast and flabbergasted right now. Why would they? Just because if nobody has watched the movie, the main essence of the film and the story of Laila Majnu basically is that both of them fall in love and then they're not able to be together, and then she has to get married to somebody else because her family doesn't allow, and eventually he.
No spoilers, please. No spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not giving any spoilers, but both of them go mad in love. Especially he goes mad in love, like literally mad in love. If you are going to glorify ki matlab men go mad in love and they quote unquote relate to it more just because it has been portrayed, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't absolutely agree with that. And more than anything, it can be any human being who could go like mad in love, like literally hysterical. And that's absolutely possible. But you also have to see that this story cannot be uh, true in today's day and age, because I don't think the men today have that much of like depth, for the lack of a better word, that they would move past their own egotism to have that sense of selflessness that they would go mad in love, literally. So that's my answer to your question.
What's your opinion on it, Pohe? Since you're the only man here.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the shallowest of them all? Me.
Opposite of depth.
Thank you.
I gave you the
Explain kar diya
opportunity
tha.
to defend the Madzat, but you kind
I
of
would never do
want to.
that. I would never do that. You know me.
अच्छा
Assignment for
पूछ.
Litti and myself is to watch the movie Laila Majnu, and also for our listeners who have not watched it, should watch it and let us know their opinions to us in the comments. Ki, who is it more relatable to, men, women, or equally relatable?
Also,
Okay. But
it used to be available only on Z5 before, because it was
now
not
it's
that popular and people did not really like it when it was originally, released. But now that it had re-released in the theaters and people loved Avinash Tiwari on, who plays the main character of
and
uh,
Tripti Dimri. Yeah.
and Tripti Dimri, and of the main, both of them play the main characters, and I have loved Tripti Dimri in that film so much, and all of her lesser known films have had so much depth when it comes to the characters as well. And Laila Majnu is now available on Netflix.
On Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to watch it, it's very easily available.
It's a
But yeah,
tragedy
I
of
mean,
our country that Tripti Dimri didn't get her due recognition through Bulbul or Kala or Laila Majnu, but she got it through bad news and animal. So I don't know what that says about our
Absolutely.
society.
Absolutely. And I also fell in love with Avinash Tiwari because of his portrayal of the character. Because oh my freaking lord, like, to know that that is acting and that is not real. He is absolutely brilliant actor who doesn't get his due. So that's that.
Coming to the point that Aviel was making, that if Laila Majnu can happen in today's day and age or not, I don't think I'm in a position to comment on that because conflict of interest. As a man, I can't comment if men in general today are shallow or deep when it comes to their thought process or their psyche. But one thing I would like to say is that because we live in a patriarchal society, there are some expectations from women and there are some expectations from men कि जो traditional gender roles type की बातें हैं, men are supposed to show themselves as very protective and strong, and मर्द है रो नहीं सकते, and you're supposed to take care of all the women in your life. That is your role, the so-called protector role. So given that, that is the burden, so-called burden on today's men as well. So uh, I'm not defending or making this into a gender issue or whatever, but that is a certain expectation from a patriarchal society. So first we need to dismantle a society that believes in patriarchy, and then only we can have this conversation of whether today's men are shallow enough or deep enough. But on the other hand, uh, flipping this thing on its head, someone I used to know long back used to tell me that because I was not possessive enough or toxic enough or not shucky enough, like I never thought of that she shouldn't talk to other men or shouldn't have any space friends. So that became boring over a period of time. And that is how the spark, so called spark, was lost in the relationship. So I would like to know the women's perspective from both of you. Does this really happen? That is being a guy being too nice a bad thing, or was that like exaggerated thing? Because recently I also saw a reel or a video just made the a woman was explaining this, that why do someone had asked her that why is it in pop culture also or in real life also, why is it assumed that women like so-called beep boys or toxic boys over nice guys? So she also explained this, that over the time it may become boring, so to say. So what is your perspective on that?
So I mean, I don't know. I feel that maybe my sample size is completely different than your sample, the whole sample. But like in my circle, my friends, my folks who I am close to, not just like I would not, not talking about a personal life or a relationship, also other people, like other close friends of mine, I don't see them being extremely possessive or being attracted, or even my girlfriends being attracted to something toxic. I have not, they've always not liked it. But having said that, every human being experiences all kinds of emotions. So to say that you never experience possessiveness is also not right. So a little bit of everything is required in a relationship. But you need to understand kaun sa emotion kitna rakhna hai. For example, I myself am a very secure person. I do not feel मुझे ये सब feel नहीं होता कि you are just mine and all that possessive feeling and all that. I don't experience like just I don't experience that, but I have experienced that once. And in that moment I felt like almost like that Alia Bhatt's character from Gully Boy. I felt like taking a bottle and just smashing it on somebody's head. I was like itna gussa. When I for the first time I felt that level of possessiveness, and वो कम ही नहीं हो रहा था, वो इस level पे था rage मेरा, almost like very harmful. So but it got controlled because the person I was with made sure that he makes me feel secure. So, but I
Yes.
did experience it. I will not take that away that it did not, like, I did not feel that rage inside me just once in my life. And I also want to say that it just works for me. It might be different for you, but I have experienced that more when it comes to, close friends. Like, I feel like more than, because it feels like, they are your people. This person is
Yeah.
my person, and you just
Yes.
don't feel like sharing them. And and you don't even realize it, आप कभी बोलते नहीं हो, वो बहुत subtle होता है आपके दिमाग में. So I have felt that
हाँ.
more with my friends, even like people I fell in love with, but they happen to be more like my friend, and then that got converted into relationship. But that friendship is something that I don't want to share. I don't want somebody to make me feel ki, okay, somebody is more is somebody is more important a friend than me. And that's not a good feeling, I completely agree. And that's not a healthy thing to do also, not imposing yourself also. And I also understand and want to highlight and acknowledge that आप उसको वैसे ही लो और उस चीज पे खुद वर्क करने की जरूरत है. बट जस्ट सेइंग दैट कि वो आता ही नहीं है आपके, वो फीलिंग ही नहीं आती समथिंग जो कि बहुत आइडियल बात कर रहे हो आप, इट डजंट हैपन. एवरीबडी इज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग. सो लाइक whoever said that to you, maybe that person did not mean in a way कि बिल्कुल ही रोज मेरे ऊपर आने जाने पे एकदम ही रोक लगाओ, एंड जस्ट बट just show that you care and it matters. You want to share certain things with a certain person. उतना सा छोटा सा एक बहुत कम लेवल पे होना इज ऑल्सो इन अ वे, अगर पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज करोगे तो इट वुड ऑल्सो लुक लाइक वेरी मच लाइक कि आप you're expecting from this person. And also it's not just love in words, it's also action. वो थोड़ा हक जैसा फील होता है up to a certain level, but उससे ज्यादा obviously it gets converted into that toxic sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like when this person might have said this to you, again, gazillion things make you the person that you are. So you can never know where that sense of, her wanting you to be possessive is coming from. But having said that, I feel like there is a difference between being possessive and being territorial. Like, while Litti was talking about Alia Bhatt breaking the bottle on somebody's head from the same film when Ranveer Singh confronts her that, why did you do that? Why did you do this? And she says कि मेरी boyfriend के साथ गुलू गुलू करेगी तो धुपतुएंगी ना. So that is that is a sense that sometimes I feel comes out in me, and my close friends would know this. But I feel like it has to do with being territorial rather than being possessive. And what Litty said is very important, is that that sense of security doesn't only come from your side. Obviously it's impossible कि तुम्हारे लाइफ में दूसरे लोग नहीं होंगे. Everybody has their own journey and own life, so it's impossible कि नहीं होंगे. That sense of security has to be built from both ends, and why, coming back to the same thing, that efforts have to be made from both sides. That is one. And two, I feel like कि this sense of कि तुम possessive क्यों नहीं हो रहे हो, that is so weird. And it can be from the girl's side also. क्योंकि uh, how can you be so secure? So probably there might be two things. One, कि कभी उस इंसान ने वैसा कोई इंसान देखा ही नहीं है where they are so secure that उनको उतना respect and belief है तुम में, trust है कि तुम वैसे उस हिसाब से नहीं देखोगे. That is one. And two, I feel like this sense of possessiveness that, okay, you are mine, that also has to be there somewhere, in not a very patriarchal sense that you are my property, in both sides, from the man's perspective or the woman's perspective. But it's a very instinctual thing, I feel, of be having that sense of possessiveness. And I, like Litty said, I feel this very strongly for my friends, because they have been my my support and my strong point. And I have become the woman, half of the woman that I am, because of the female friendships that I've had, and I hold them really close to me. And over the years, I have come to understand that even though everybody moves on in their life and we all go our own ways and things happen, I know that I can still count on these people. And at the same time, I does that mean that I am that secure कि मुझे कोई फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है कि ओ अच्छा मेरी जो दोस्त है वो किसी और के साथ ज्यादा क्लोज हो रही है, तो दैट वो बचपना कि ओ नहीं, शी इज माय बेस्ट फ्रेंड, वो नहीं है. नो, एब्सोल्युटली नॉट. आई एब्सोल्युटली डू फील दैट आल्सो. एंड ये बहुत बीच में भी आता है when it comes to relationships also, like your friends get into relationships, and then that division ho jata hai in your space and time and things like that, so it becomes difficult. So again, it is a very to and fro thingy, and it is a very double-edged sword kind of situation, where अगर एक चीज नहीं है तो दूसरी नहीं होगी, and vice versa.
And I also feel it's also a very man thing. They kind of probably like कि अच्छा अभी इसको कुछ कहा है, and then I would notice कि इसको फर्क पड़ रहा है या नहीं किसी और का नाम लेने से, and all shitty things like that. Because just think of it, you never, how come, like you never, your best friend never makes you feel like that? How come? Like I'm not talking to my best friend on everyday basis. She has her own friends. इतने सारे उसके दोस्त हैं जिनके साथ वो रोज उठ रही है, बैठ रही है, sharing her day-to-day life. I am probably talking to her, twice a week or something like that. Still, I know for a fact that I am the closest to her. How is it possible that she is making me feel that? But sometimes when it comes to men, they would love it कि oh इसको फर्क पड़ रहा है, when it's all just bullshit and crap. I think that just works against it. कोई मतलब नहीं है. It's a two way street. You don't feel इस इंटेंसिटी पे आप तभी नहीं फील करते हो जब आपको उतना सिक्योर फील कराया जाता है. सो इट्स दैट इम्पोर्टेंट. और वो उसके लिए इतना ये नहीं होता है कि आप रोज सुबह उठ के सामने वाले को बोलते रहो यू आर माई पर्सन, यू आर माई. नो, दैट जस्ट वो पता चल जाता है व्हेन यू शेयर थिंग्स. यू नो दैट ऑल्सो इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. समटाइम्स इवन इन लेस पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, बहुत कम टाइम में भी आपको ऐसे फ्रेंड्स मिल जाते हैं हु गेट यू and who know कि ये इसको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, क्यों कहना है, like why. And even if without asking, people would sometimes, you would get such friends who would come and explain to you कि don't feel bad, I didn't mean that. And you would feel so good कि अरे मेरे को तो, मैंने तो इतना सोचा भी नहीं था, this other person is taking so much of effort. So I feel that we take so much of effort in friendship. जबकि फ्रेंडशिप में, लाइक फॉर मी इट एग्जिस्ट मोर इन फ्रेंडशिप, द possessiveness. But I feel, I see at least my close friends, they always take so much of effort in friendship. If we do the same thing in relationship, I think it will not be an issue इतना ज्यादा. So I think it goes both way. I think this थोड़ा सा onus दोनों तरफ lie करता है कि you make the person feel secured as well. It might be an unpopular opinion, but this is what I feel.
No, I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. I guess that's how it is. क्योंकि तुमको in any manner, the sense of security that you will feel when it comes to emotions not only lies in your brains, it lies in the other person's actions and words as well. So I hope that answers your question, Pohe.
Yeah, thank you for explaining it so well, both of you. So hope our audience also has got to know the male audience members we have got to know the other side's perspective, which is very lacking in a very polarized world that we live in. So it's very difficult for us to have a chat together with the opposite gender. So if this has been a bridge towards that, I think we have accomplished something here.
Okay, so moving on to before moving on to our last segment, I would like to put forward a very thought-provoking question for all of you.
Pohe, be ready.
Yeah, I think you should be ready for it. So if there is one lesson that I would like to that you would like to talk about, that you have learned from your past relationship, what would it be?
Holy Mother of God.
मैं आंसर देगा, लेकिन कम से कम 30 साल का समय तो दे मेरे को.
I was about to say Poe as a laundry list.
I can write a whole thesis on this.
Let's go, Dr. Aviel.
Oh well.
ये तो धर्म संकट में डाल दिया दीप्ति ने.
Actually, धर्म संकट में डाल दिया है. Again, what did you say?
The lesson you
What
learned
is
from your past.
one lesson that you have learned from your past relationships? It's plural.
Aviel 3 घंटे बात करेगी इस पे.
नहीं, so हाँ, मैं इसके बारे में 3 घंटे बाद, वही तो मैंने बोला, 3 घंटे छोड़ो, मैं
I think Pohe should go first. Meanwhile, Aviel can streamline her thought process. I think a lot of things are coming in her head.
No, I have a very simple, straightforward one-liner.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. One of the main things, two things I would like to point out, which I have myself learned, I'm not only speaking in the other sense of things, is that, which we spoke about earlier, is that it's very important to maintain your own self and your identity and keep it independent of the relationship, one. And two, what I mentioned earlier, that love automatically will come if there is this sense of respect and understanding and compromise, and there's enough communication, and you maintain your ethics and principles, and you discuss all of that, and be practical as well. So yeah, these are the two takeaways that I've had from my relationships.
It's plural.
It's plural.
I
Now,
would not. I would. I would not
yeah.
like to reveal if it's a singular or a plural in my case. So take your best guess. All I would say
Okay.
is, first and foremost, as Aviel said, communication is very. It's a key part of any relationship, may it be friendship or a romantic relationship. That's the first part. Uh, which it took me a lot of time to learn that, but hopefully I've learned it by now. That's a very important lesson. And secondly, there is no problem in this world that cannot be solved by two people sitting across from each other and talking it out. Whatever,
Oh, yes.
however
Look who's
grave,
talking. Look who's talking.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well.
yeah. Pohe
Uh,
is the one who is saying this, not Avinash. So
I don't know what that meant. For a split second, I have to, like, my brain is buffering. Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you said. Like, that is something that I agree with 110%, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship or even your family, and like any human relationship that you have, there is nothing which is not possible if you are sitting and talking it out.
Aviel and
So
Pohe
important.
finally agree on something. So उत्सव की तैयारी की जाए.
Woohoo!
Well. But also, नहीं, मुझे ये बोलना था कि I have come to realize that while I'm a very patient and peaceful person, I've come to realize that I can also be the person who goes on to say that मेरे boyfriend के साथ गुलू गुलू करेगी तो धोप दूंगी ना, actually धोप दूंगी मैं. So
मैं भी
that.
साथ आएगी धोप तो इनको धोपने को मैं भी साथ आएगी.
Yeah, so I've come to realize that. And it
So
doesn't necessarily have to be my boyfriend, it can be my friend as well. But yeah, now Litti, coming to you. We have answered your question. It is your turn.
So I mean, I have an unpopular opinion. I don't know if you guys would agree, but I think there's, as much as I endorse having friendship in a relationship, I feel that with distance somehow the friendship exist and it might even thrive. But I think this is what makes the relationship different, in terms of like different in from friendship, is that distance actually does a lot of damage to relationship. This has been my learning, because हम कितना भी मूवी देख ले और कितनी भी books पढ़ ले, and they talk about if there is love and all of that, it is going to be there and all of that, and I completely agree. I am not taking that away completely, but I have learned that it takes a lot of effort then, and you have to acknowledge that it takes
Yes.
extreme amount of effort when there is
Yes.
distance. You think that love would thrive on its own. It's not going to happen. So distance does a lot of damage. There can be some beautiful things as well, but it does a lot of damage. So one should be ready, for the consequences, and one should be taking all those efforts accordingly.
Yes.
That is my takeaway.
Yeah, that
from
is something that I absolutely agree, is that distance has the ability to make things worse, even with friendships, I feel, because it's very easy to be in your own cocoon and your own space and be like, हाँ बात कर लेंगे, हाँ अच्छा उसका तो anyway मैं इंस्टाग्राम स्टोरीज देख रही हूँ तो मुझे पता है उसके लाइफ में क्या हो रहा है, आई एम अप टू डेट, इट्स फाइन, आई विल speak some other day and it's going to be okay. But in all of that time, a lot of things might have happened, uh, where your person, whether it's your friend or your partner, might have needed you and you were not able to be there. If there are obviously like real reasons, वो अलग बात है. But efforts डालना, चाहे वो relationship हो या friendship हो, over distance, it has to be made from both ends, and it takes way more effort than you would actually think generally. So there's that.
Coming to the last and most famous segment of our episodes over the last few days is the movie recommendations. There has been a very high conversion rate from our recommendations to our audience actually going and watching those movies. So even more responsibility on our shoulder, guys. So
Yay.
let's go ahead and recommend a movie which fits the theme of our today's episode of Valentine's Day. Aviel, would you like to start?
Yes, absolutely. It is a series, it's not a film, and it is easily available on Netflix. It's called Queen Charlotte, and it is a spin-off from the ever so famous Bridgerton. And I have watched Bridgerton as well, but if you ask me personally, I would any day choose Queen Charlotte over it. And as much as I wanted to recommend a film or a series that is part of the tragic genre, this is something that I would want to recommend. It is about Queen Charlotte and George, and their relationship, which was obviously a real one. There are fictional sites added to it, but majorly that is what happened in history. And it talks about their relationship and how she still stood by him through all of the problems that he had to go through. Now, what those are, you should go and watch it yourself and figure out. And again, I really loved it, more so because of the performances that the series had. And it's a short, limited series, I guess 2 or 3 seasons at the most. And it's available on Netflix, and you can absolutely go and watch it. So, yeah, that is my recommendation. Litty?
I would like to recommend two, three, maybe. I think most of them you would have already watched. One, so two of them are web series, and it's one is Schitt's Creek, of course. I believe that's the something
Yes.
so lovely. I love it. Again, going on to the same theme, a friend of mine, he suggested me a very nice web series. It's again on similar lines but little different. Talks about modern dating as well, especially in the LGBTQIA plus community. It's on Netflix. It's called Smiley. uh,
Hmm.
so
Okay.
that is also a cute one. Apart from that, there is one movie which I had watched when I was a kid, and I just love it. And it's called Little Manhattan. It's a movie
Okay.
which is like, you might find it on Prime Video. It's about
Okay.
two kids, in love, and the cute things they do. It's like a very cute, very like, not that great a story as such, but since the theme is love, I'm just sticking to the theme. You would love it, and if you are a hopeless romantic, you might just have butterflies watching some scenes in there, the cute scenes where these kids are talking to each other and having these cute gestures, and it's a pyara movie. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know about the smiley one. So I think I'm going to go and watch it. Yeah.
You've seen Little Manhattan, dekhi hai?
हाँ, हाँ.
It's a cute one, na?
Yes. Yes, Pohe.
Thanks, Aviel and Litti, for your nice recommendations. For my recommendation today, it is a movie from 2018. It's a rom-com. It's available on Netflix. This is a movie of Vicky Kaushal before he was a star that he is today. It's a movie called Love Per Square Foot. It's one of my favorite genres of movies is where a city is one of the characters in a movie. So Mumbai itself
Yes.
plays a part in this movie where it's a city of everyone has high aspirations and high dreams, but there is no space to fulfill those dreams. Like it's a very cramped city. So everyone's ultimate dream in the city is to have a place they can call their own. So it's a movie about two random strangers who meet someday and then devise hatch a plan to apply for a flat that is upcoming in a sarkari क्या बोलते हैं, scheme, so they can put their name as a lucky draw system kind of a thing. So they just decide to partner up and put their names into that list. And eventually, what happens between them and whether they get a house or not, it's a movie about that. And it's a very light and heartfelt movie. And before I give too much away, I would recommend go to Netflix and watch it. And I've already today recommended Premalu. So these are my two recommendations. Love Per Square Foot is available on Netflix, and Premalu is available on Hotstar.
Perfect.
So that's it from us today. Do let us know what are your Valentine Day plans in the comments below.
And that's a wrap for today. But don't worry, spicy avial,
Smoky Litti,
and Tangy Poe will be back with another episode soon. In the meantime,
tell your friends about this podcast because it looks like
you're officially part of the ALP crew now. No turning back.